Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Qualcomm, and in my opinion, this is absolutely horrible news for the company, and news that I think is going to really impact their share prices in a negative fashion. So taking a look, this is one of the many headlines that are out there. Qualcomm faces crisis that could strike at the very heart of Android phones. It turns out that ARM has issued a 60-day notice to terminate its architectural license. So back in 2021, Qualcomm purchased Nuvia. Now, based on my understanding of the situation, there were a number of reasons why Qualcomm bought Nuvia. One of the big ones was to help them develop their custom cores that are going to be used in Snapdragon processors. And part of that acquisition included license agreements between Nuvia and ARM. ARM agreed to those licenses with Nuvia, not with Qualcomm, and Qualcomm automatically owned those licenses afterwards, which ARM didn't really agree with, so ARM filed a lawsuit against Qualcomm, wanting Qualcomm basically to renegotiate with them. Now, if you wanted to read more about that lawsuit, there's a very good article over on Ars Technica, which I'll drop a link to in the description below. In fact, everything I talk about, link will be in the description below right at the bottom. Anyways, here things seem to have not really resolved, and well, things have taken a step up in terms of conflict. So with ARM filing that 60-day cancellation notice against Qualcomm here, according to Android headlines, Qualcomm could have to stop selling chips with custom Orion cores. And this will include the Snapdragon 8 Elite and the Snapdragon X series. And those are some of Qualcomm's big planned moneymakers. I mean, the Snapdragon X Elite is the chip of the future, supposed to power a whole bunch of high-end phones. Anyways, here they say chips like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 are not affected. So current generation phones are okay, but next generation phones are definitely impacted. I am very curious to see what's going to happen with this lawsuit and also with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. And I'm wondering if a few of those Snapdragon 8 Elites will make it out into the public, and then worst case scenario, Qualcomm can no longer sell them. And then those people with the Snapdragon 8 Elites, are they going to receive support moving forward, or are they just kind of left to fend for themselves with a very rare and interesting chip? Let me know your thoughts about this whole situation in the comments below, and what do you think is going to happen? Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with Shad PS4, and a lot of people messaged me about this one today, and well, it turns out that Drive Club is booting. It's not playable, it crashes, it doesn't really go in game, but it is booting. And a lot of people are excited about that and excited about the future of Shad PS4 if they weren't already because of Bloodborne. My guess is that it's going to take a while before Drive Club boots and is playable, but at the same time, I didn't think Bloodborne was going to be emulated on PS4 anytime soon, so who the heck knows here? Shad PS4 keeps on surprising, and let me know your thoughts about Shad PS4 in the comments below. Next up, we're quickly talking about Mario and Luigi Brothership, or Fraternal Connection. Now, we talked about this game in the past because it did leak early. Physical copies of this game are already out there in the wild. People are already posting gameplay footage to YouTube. People are posting full playthroughs on YouTube. And there are a lot of spoilers out there. When this game initially leaked, a lot of people speculated it would work with emulators. And this seems to be confirmation that yes, the game is playable on emulators, without any further development to emulators that have been shut down. My guess here is that this person received a copy of the game somehow early and then dumped their copy of the game and tried it within an emulator and seems to be working. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. This is one of those games that I think is actually going to do pretty good because it looks pretty interesting based on what I've seen so far. Next up, we're talking about Sega Dreamcast emulation with Flycast, and Flycast just got a brand new update with some amazing new features. So at the time of filming, Flycast version 2.4 is the latest update, and as for what's new here, they've added in retro achievement support, UI improvements with save state thumbnails, force feedback support for some arcade games, Discord-rich presence, Android Gamepad Rumble, custom Adreno drivers, and many bug fixes, Vulkan optimization, a whole bunch more fixes, and a whole bunch more. And there's been a bunch of games here that have been fixed. Based on my understanding, this update will be hitting the Google Play Store sooner rather than later, but taking a look at the Google Play Store right now, and it hasn't been updated just yet. If you wanted to see things early, the APK is directly on their GitHub and you can check it out there. If not, you can wait for the Google Play Store update. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be very excited about this update, especially those who play some racing arcade games. I mean, having force feedback support is amazing. Having retro achievement support is amazing. A lot of this stuff is pretty amazing. And speaking about amazing, next up here, we're talking about a brand new PS2 game, Ish. It was a game that was canceled that never saw the light of day over here in North America, but now the game has been preserved. So back in 2003, Namco co-produced a fantasy adventure game for the PS2, featuring vocal talents of a whole bunch of popular actors at the time. So the game is called Kena, and I might have mispronounced that one, but it was 100% complete and even advertised in the 2004 European lineup. But Namco never brought the English language version to market. I don't know why. It was 100% complete. There might have been some sort of licensing issue or something like that. It's just very odd to me. Anyways, Robin Davies has acquired a full debug preview copy of the game with its original voice cast, and it's dated November 2003. If you are curious about this one, Robin has shared gameplay footage over on Twitter and will be preserving it. I'm assuming it's going to be uploaded to the Internet Archive whenever that returns. Let me know your thoughts about Kena in the comments below, or Kena, I'm not quite sure on how to pronounce that. And speaking about the Internet Archive, next up here we're talking about the Internet Archive, and it appears that the Internet Archive is on its way back. So if we take a look on their website here, they say the Wayback Machine, Archive It, and blog.archive.org has been resumed. But archive.org itself is still intermittent in terms of overall service and is still not fully back up. I mean, even right now when I head over to blog.archive.org, everything is not loading, so emphasis on intermittent service. From my understanding, things are currently read-only and there is no ability to upload new things to the Internet Archive until they get things sorted out. I've got no time frame on any of that, and I think it's going to take them a while here. I mean, it's been taking quite a bit just to get it back up. Honestly, I'm just hoping that they're going to fix the security issues for the Internet Archive, and it may be more resilient to attacks like this in the future. But who knows here, because I've heard things on both sides of the fence, and I'm not being optimistic about it. The archive.org, for some reason, is just a center of attention for attacking. It's a very weird situation. But things did load up while I was talking, so it just seems that things are very slow at the moment, and I'm going to assume they're going to be slow for a while. And speaking about hacks, next up we're talking about a ROM hack, so arguably not a bad hack depending on who you're talking to. Anyways, there's a brand new ROM hack here called Mega Man 1 Law of Justice. It's just been released on romhackplaza.org. Now, it is worth pointing out that on RomHack Plaza, it's saying it's version 1.1, so I'm wondering when version 1.0 came out, if it came out just before version 1.1. Anyways, I was not aware of this ROM hack before, and it contains new levels, new music, new weapons, new bosses, new robot masters, new enemies, new graphics, improvements over the original game, and even more. Next up, we're talking about Ubisoft and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now, we've talked about Ubisoft a few times recently. I mean, they've been in the news for a number of different reasons, some of these controversial and, well, some of them more controversial, arguably. Anyways, here, this is arguably one of the more controversial things. They've reportedly disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team. And based on the recent reports, Ubisoft has confirmed this and says the team is now working on different projects. I guess the game just sold a whole lot less than they wanted to, and I guess a sequel was not in the cards. Heading over to Steam and taking a look at the game real quick, and it seems it's been well reviewed. I mean, right now it's sitting at a very positive review score with just a little over 1,000 reviews. That to me is shockingly low for a AAA studio. And the price of this one is pushing AAA prices as well. I wouldn't say it's exactly there. I mean, if you take a look at something like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that'll set you back in Canadian dollars anyway, like $100. So $54.99 in Canada to me is, well, it's reasonable for this game. I think it's just pushing a little bit expensive, and maybe that's one of the reasons why this game didn't perform so well. I mean, heading over to SteamDB and taking a look at the amount of players right now, the 24-hour peak is 123, with the all-time peak being 1,446, which is not very good at all. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Why do you think this game failed? Do you think it was pricing? Do you think it was something else? And last up here, we're talking about Sega, and it turns out that Sega has filed a patent infringement lawsuit seeking 1 billion yen in damages. Now, 1 billion yen is around 6.56.6-ish million dollars USD. And taking a look, it's against Memento Mori developer Bank of Innovation. I don't even know what this game is, but apparently it's some sort of idle RPG gacha game. So Sega has cited 5 different patents that this game infringes upon, and they're all surrounding gameplay mechanics and gacha. Now, although I'm not overly familiar with the game, I'm very curious to see how this court case unfolds. I mean, $6.6 million is nothing to scoff at. Now, at the time of filming, this game is still up on the Google Play Store here for Android, and I'm not certain it's going to be taken down. But taking a look here, I must be living under a rock or something, because this game's got over 1 million downloads. I don't know how I didn't know about it or didn't hear about it before. Or maybe we've talked about it before, I've just forgotten. Anyways, it's very well reviewed with a 4.3 star rating with over 78,000 reviews. So let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Are you surprised that Sega is going after a different company here? And let me know your thoughts about this game if you've played it in the comments below as well. I'm surprised I haven't heard about it before, but again, it's an AFK RPG and there are microtransactions, so it's really not up my alley. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Unless you count the legendary One Fluff or the mythic One Fluff, or however you want to refer to her as in the beginning of this video in the background. Anyways, we talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your estate.